So both of those things would definitely be an improvement. It'd be hard actually to disimprove, what they're doing right now. But I just don't see them letting anybody that actually knows what they're doing go in there and do it in a meaningful way. So there's my opinion.
And real quickly, your take last night, they put Rob Van Dam over for the TNA World title. A lot of people want to get your thoughts on that as well.
Well, why not? I mean, for whatever good being the TNA World Champion does anybody, I think it's wonderful that Rob Van Dam has it. I think they ought to just give it to somebody different once a week. They never build anything for him anyway. And besides that, let's go ahead now. Wait a minute. Examine this. The whole Raw crew is stuck in Europe because of volcanic ash. Maybe, just maybe, now, tonight, we can finally get a rating, and I'll guarantee you, Raw probably, we don't have the numbers yet, but Raw probably still did 4 times what Impact did. They just spit in the face of everybody, well, not everybody, there are so few people, but all the few people who bought their pay-per-view on Sunday night to see world title matches and things of that nature. They don't get the title change. They just do it on free TV in another desperation move to try to get some viewers, because maybe if the USA Network announced next week, okay, on Monday night we're going to run Mighty Mouse cartoons, then TNA can say, hey, maybe now we've got a chance. Fuck.
What's going on with Ring of Honor? Anything good coming up?
Well, I'll tell you what. I mentioned, by the way, that I'm headed up to. No, I didn't mention that. I got started on something else. I'm headed up to Dayton and Chicago this weekend for Ring of Honor. 2 great events, Friday night in Dayton, Ohio, Saturday night in Chicago. And, of course, the big event is coming up May the 8th in New York City. I'm going to be there as well to see Tyler Black defend the Ring of Honor World title against Roderick Strong. That's going to be a long-awaited match. Roderick finally gets his opportunity. You can also remember that Ring of Honor is the only hour of wrestling on Monday nights on HDNet, 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. Eastern. Figure it out for Central, Mountain, and Pacific. And Ring of Honor so far is it's what's keeping me sane, Tommy, because any time that I get tired of watching my classic wrestling tapes, I can plug in Ring of Honor television or Ring of Honor's latest DVD, and I can actually see people applying wrestling holds and people responding to same, instead of bad acting, poor comedy, and way too much overly contrived soap opera.
And just to mention again, the tapes that Jim, the old tapes that he does watch in the spare time, are not bootleg tapes.
They're not bootleg tapes at all. No, well, actually, I watch a few, but I don't sell any. It is still legal to watch bootleg tapes. You just can't sell them. Well, I don't do that either. I hope I'm not missing anybody that deserves some praise, or even better yet, I hope I'm not missing anybody that deserves some scoring today. But I just wanted to talk about the fallout from last week and a few observations that had come to mind. And by the way, if Mr. Bischoff, if he wants to continue to twatter about me or make comments about me that I can refute so easily, please do so, because traffic was up to JimCornette.com over 150% last week. And I appreciate everybody, like I said, giving their support and buying my products, because, hey, I may need a legal defense fund. Who knows? You never know about these things.
Well, it's funny how this guy comes out of nowhere and starts bashing you. I mean, you never say anything to him first publicly, but he has to.
Well, I didn't say anything first about him publicly recently, but I've been talking about him for the past 15 years publicly, because he's a symptom of the cancer that has overridden the professional wrestling industry, just like Russo is, because he's always been about. He wrote a book that was recently available on clearance from the WWE for $1.98. He said controversy equals cash. Apparently, he never came up with a sequel to the book called Quality Equals Cash, because he's always been about the controversy. He's never been about the quality. Well, I love Mr. Bischoff, because he and people like him and Russo and the Yellow Rooster and all the rest of these people, they give me the energy and the will to go on and crusade and tell the truth to all the wrestling fans, like I've been doing and will continue to do, regardless of their efforts to shut me up.
On this humble little podcast.
The more that they knock the wrestling fans, and I'm a wrestling fan, that's why I take it personally, the more that they knock them and they try to foist off an inferior product on them, and they try to make them insignificant, and they try to look down their nose at them despite the fact that they owe everything they have in their lives to the wrestling business that they've raped and pillaged, the more that I will continue to, as the exotic Adrian Street used to say, take the piss out of these motherfuckers.
Well, that'll about do it this week here on Cornette's Commentary and Who's Slamming Who. Again, head over to JimCornette.com for all the latest going on with Jimmy. And
also for those new authorized videos. Like I said, authorized by Jerry Jarrett, the Memphis promoter, who was the sensible member of the Jarrett family.
And a good friend of Who's Slamming Who, by the way.
And a wonderful friend of Who's Slamming Who, and actually who scored me higher than Kenny Bolin in the great debate a little over a year ago. And by the way, and just so you know, I understand, I've heard the publicity that Kenny Bolin has the Honky Tonk Man on his program this week, going to give his views on Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff and the rest of them. And I don't know what Bolin's trying to pull, because I know he's got problems with Lanny Savage and Randy Poffo, or vice versa, whichever. I don't know what he's trying to pull, but I know the Honky Tonk Man. I've known Wayne Ferris for even longer than I've known Terry Taylor, and I know that he's a man that likes to stand up and tell the truth. And I don't know what Bolin's trying to pull, but I have a feeling that the Honky Tonk Man on the bowling alley is going to say things even stiffer about this cast of characters that I have, and Bolin's not going to be able to see what Bolin wants. He wants to get in good with Eric Bischoff and the rest of them, so maybe he can get a job one of these days, one of these big-time national corporate wrestling jobs. That's what he wants. And he's thinking if he gets these stars on to try to say some good things about these people and not me, that he'll get in good with them. Well, Honky Tonk Man is a man of his word also, and I know he's going to stand up and tell just what he thinks rather than going for Bolin's shyster shenanigans. So it should be interesting to see what Kenny Bolin tries to meld the comments of the Honky Tonk Man on the bowling alley. It ain't going to work. Honky's going to tell it straight.
I look forward to hearing that. And Jimmy, thank you again as always. And I'm sure Eric Bischoff and et cetera will pop up within the next 7 days. So I'm sure we'll have a lot more to talk about next week here on Cornette's Commentary.
Well, you know, they're just like fungus on a shower curtain. You can scrub it and you can bleach it, but just when you think you got rid of it, it comes right back.
All right, Jimmy, we'll talk to you next week, man.
Thank you, Tommy, and thank you, everybody, for the support. I continue to be either the most popular, the most unpopular, but certainly the most controversial man of professional wrestling, because I'm the only one that don't give a shit, and I'll tell the truth.
You got that right. Jimmy, thank you again. We'll talk to you next week.
Goodbye, everybody.